News, today's news.
Expanded auto strike threat. If the companies don't come back with an agreement, we're going to take out some more facilities. Government funding impasse.
The U.S. House has just stalled.
East Coast storm.
Lots of rain, and it's going to be pretty gusty, too.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup. The week-long strike by auto workers against Detroit's Big Three at 3 production plants could expand in just a matter of hours. CBS's Chris Van Cleve reports the union wants significant progress toward a deal, or more plants could be hit with a walkout.
Union, Union,
The United Auto Workers Union staged what amounted to practice strikes near plants in Chicago and Louisville after picketing in front of Chrysler parent Stellantis' Michigan headquarters. Already, nearly 13,000 UAW workers are on strike. Automakers say the strike's ripple effects forced temporary layoffs of roughly 3,000 others whose work depends on those closed plants. Components manufacturer CIE Nucor filed a warn notice saying it might have to temporarily lay off nearly 300 workers due to the strike. A big concern in Corunna, Michigan. It's really heartbreaking. City manager Joseph Sawyer.
Any kind of extended shutdown or strike will put just undue hardship on the most vulnerable of our society.
2 hours south in Toledo, Ohio, the strike at the Jeep plant down the street is hitting the Grapevine Bar and Grill. They've already laid off servers and a bartender while lowering prices.
We're figuring it out. It's going to affect us. Hopefully this does not go on long.
For a third straight day today, the union representing striking writers meets with Hollywood studios. No firm information has emerged from the talks, but on the picket line, there's new hope the final chapter could be near.
I am hopeful. I think it should end very soon. It's terrible. Nobody's getting paid. There's solidarity amongst people, but this is a long time coming.
The White House has ordered 800 additional active-duty troops to the southern border. Unpublished numbers obtained by CBS News indicate there's been a 60% jump in the number of migrants stopped at the border since July. Here's CBS's Manuel Bajorquez.
Thousands of migrants have waded through the dangerous Rio Grande and entered the city of Eagle Pass, Texas. But not everyone makes it. Officials say they've recovered 2 drowning victims this week, including a 3-year-old child. Still more are willing to take the risk. We went into Juarez, Mexico. They say they are fleeing political persecution or poverty.
Mensual me ganó $50.
So as a nurse in Venezuela, you make $50 a month. Mensualmente. Eso no te alcanza. That's not enough for you to make a living. U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents say the recent sharp increase in crossings is due in part to cartels seeking a profit, luring migrants who pay to cross with the promise of a better life.
These cartels are very good at what they do. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. They're focusing on migrants and the disinformation that they're feeding migrants to fuel that profit stream.
There's breaking news from Washington. New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez and his wife have been indicted on charges of accepting bribes in a case involving 3 businessmen. Still no success on Capitol Hill for House Speaker McCarthy in the bid to prevent a government shutdown in just over a week. CBS's Scott McFarlane.
At this moment, the U.S. Congress has not passed any of the dozen appropriations bills needed to keep the government open. There hasn't been put on paper a continuing resolution to avert a shutdown that both parties will agree to, and they would have 4 or 5 days beginning Tuesday after Yom Kippur to get that done. That's just impossible.
New York's governor says a front tire failure could have contributed to the charter bus crash on an interstate northwest of New York City that killed 2 adults and seriously injured others who were on the way to a high school band camp. 5 of the 44 on board are hospitalized in critical condition. On Long Island, where the trip originated, classmates are stunned.
One of our friends was helicopter lifted. I was in shock. I have a lot of friends in that bus. I'm close with like everyone. And when I heard that happen, I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Federal investigators are getting to work on the crash today. Now to California, where state officials are rewriting some rules to allow insurers to consider climate risks when setting rates. That could open the way for more companies to stay in the state and issue policies where there's a higher wildfire danger. 4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Down.